When disasters strike, the time to prepare has passed. Jeez, man.
2020 has been a wake-up call for many Americans, showing how things can quickly take a turn for
Okay, this already sounds like a massive prepper propaganda video, man.
the worse. We experienced prosperity and calm for quite some time before this year, but we've quickly seen how that can change. One disaster or perceived calamity can cause panic. More than one catastrophe at the same time could lead to a prolonged grid-down situation.
I don't want to sound like a prepper, man, but I believe it's not dumb to be prepared for bad shit. Thank you, Goose Hunter. Corona came and the fucking German idiots, they bought the entire supermarket empty, man. Like, already, that was enough to make them all go insane, dude. Oh, I have to get all the oil to put it in my car. Like, people are legit retarded, right? You know? Thank you, Oskali TV. Thank you for the tier 2.
While the region might recover after a few days or weeks, a national incident could leave you on your own with no help coming. If a significant enough event were to occur that completely disrupted our supply chains and resources, the results would be catastrophic. Most people don't have enough food or water on hand to survive much more than a week.
True, like, I was thinking, dude, me and Lisa, we have like 5 days of food, maybe. If we're good, maybe 3 days, you know?
In this
Toilet
video,
paper,
we'll
like,
cover what you can expect when a national disaster over 90 days occurs and how you can prepare now. Please consider subscribing to our newsletter to give you updates and
I
membership.
feel like I would be in the watches if I did that, man.
Visit www.cityprepping.com
Yeah,
/newsletter.
prepping.
Click on the
I'm
link
gonna,
in the description and comment section below to subscribe today. Enjoy the
you.
video. Any disaster on a
Thank you, Vito.
national or global scale can quickly turn neighbor against neighbor. The calm social order.
True, I believe that, man. If there's like a real thing happening, people will shit on each other in a second, man. Your neighbor that you've always been like, he's a fucking idiot. Dude, they will fucking eat you for food if it's needed, man. If the stars align, man, people will become animals in a second. The thing is, though, the stars will not align. It's very, very unlikely you ever get into that event, right?
You enjoy will be flipped on its head just
But if
after
put in a
few
corner,
days.
humans will go full.
The sad
animal mode.
reality is that most people aren't prepared to survive to next week if supplies were cut off, let alone
Thank you, man,
for
in pink
90
car.
days or more.
Thank
There
you.
is, however, a
Just eat the
timeline
neighbor.
that generally follows disasters. Knowing this timeline can put you one step ahead of the herd and keep you safer amidst the chaos. This video will analyze the days, weeks, and months following a catastrophic national disaster. I'll tell you what you can expect along the way and provide you with solutions
Well, I
you
had,
need
like,
to remain safe and survive.
Piece of goose between my teeth, and I finally got it out.
The first 3 days.
First 3 days. Let's talk about that. What will you do in the first 3 days of an apocalypse, man? Because I believe, you know, one sec. Can I like maybe get chat on? No, I can't. Just die. Thank you, buddy. Stock up, but everybody's doing that. The first thing I think is do not get in your car. Do not get in your car. You're going to be stuck on the highway with thousands of people, you know? That's what you don't do. Check Discord until it's too late. Go back to bed. Thank you, Neo. Man, I actually don't know the answer. I think you would have to try to get supplies quickly, so you have a little bit of a defense, you know? Try to get, especially if you have a disease in your family, like someone has asthma, diabetes, get these medicines quickly. And actually try to stock up a little bit, man. But after that, I will bunker myself in for 2 weeks, so let all these idiots kill each other, you know? Organized with neighbors?
Depending on the national disaster, the first 24 hours can be relatively calm. If you're in the aftermath of a storm or an earthquake, this is a period where people are emerging from what is left of their shelters and making sure
Just
they
don't go
are
to Florida.
unscathed. If
I
it's
would not like to be in an apocalypse situation in America, because every crazy idiot has a gun,
a
man.
disaster like a national power outage, most people are still relatively calm. We put a great deal of faith in our government, public services, guard, and military to
You should always
restore
have
our
candles,
world
too.
following a disaster.
Candles and
This period
fire.
of calm can last for
Thank
about
you,
2
Taro.
days. After that, things begin to reveal how
This sounds weird, TommyKay, but would you try cannibalism if there's no other way? I think I'm not going to answer that.
broken
On
they
Twitch.
really are. Stores that cannot process credit and debit transactions cannot sell to people without cash, and banks that cannot process deposits and withdrawals stop functioning. Just-in-time delivery services that replenish grocery and pharmacy inventories can't do so, and shortages of some items begin to occur. This fuels even more panic buying, which further exacerbates the problem.
That's the point, though. We saw it with Corona, man. If the media says there's no more toilet paper, they will instantly panic buy toilet paper. So if there's a real disaster, they will panic buy. I think 48 hours, they will have panic bought everything, man. Like I live in a big city. All these people will just run in and get everything they called, man. Thank you, Sterling.
After 72 hours, people will begin to realize that help is not coming and systems will not be restored.
And people will loot like
Stress
crazy,
level
man.
of the community will start to boil over. If stores haven't been looted yet, it will surely begin by the third day, as those who fail to prepare will desperately try to grab up the resources they now realize they need. If you have prepared, you can avoid being caught up in this dangerous time of desperation.
I remember my grandpa's neighbor was like this. I would be with my grandpa a lot when I was a kid, and he had a tailoring shop in his basement where he will tailor. And he would always take me. And his neighbor had this big room, and it was full of shit like this. Hundreds of it, man.
If you have not.
And, like, he never needed it, right? He was just an idiot. I mean, after time, you can just eat it, sure.
Expect to be stuck with the herd making runs on stores.
That's well said. Don't get stuck with the herd making
Likely,
runs
the
on
police
stores.
will not be able to keep ahead of the crime. Local curfews will be established.
My dad has shit in the
perhaps
basement
even
like this.
martial law.
Yeah, it's...
What should you
Having a bunch of canned food probably isn't that stupid, you know?
know about and do
Why
in the
not?
first 72 hours?
I just feel like it's so
The first
unnecessary.
24 hours is a little bit of a golden window for you to act. You'll need to decide if you're going to shelter in place or bug out. You should immediately fill every container you have with water in the likelihood that pumping stations
That is
will
very
cease to
Zomboid.
operate.
He
Your
plays
water may
Zomboid.
be gravity fed with those enormous
Just
tanks you
recruit
see on
Dale.
the hillsides around your town, but those will not be replenished in a prolonged grid down situation. If possible, you should gas up your vehicle. Within the first 24 hours, if you need to go to the store, do so with cash if there's any supplies you need to top off. But again, only do this if you have no other option, as it is likely that people will be in a state of panic. So don't
shit
plan on this
scares
being
me,
your
man. This
primary
weird.
plan if you fail to prepare. Evaluate accordingly based on the knowledge of your local stores. In the first 48 hours, you should check in with your mutual assistance group if you've established these types of relationships.
What? A mutual assistance group? Dude, this guy's walking around his Alabama neighborhood preparing for day X, man. I never talk to my neighbors. What the fuck? Mutual assistant group? This guy... What the fuck?
If you live in an apartment complex, you should
There's
coordinate
probably,
a
like,
floor
prepper clans,
or building
probably,
meeting
yeah.
to discuss posting
They
guards at
also
the
share
entrances
wives a
and other
lot.
strategies to keep your
Form
building
a
safe.
clan.
Though phone and internet services may be down, apps like Bridgify that utilize mesh networks may still allow you to communicate with others or get news. CB or ham radios can provide you with
But
critical
that's the thing, our generation, dude, if I give you walkie-talkie, do you know what to fucking do? Because I don't know. I don't know. If you give me this thing, the fuck, I have no idea what to do with that.
communication abilities. A CB should be part of your prepping supplies because they are
Guarantee
very
each other or
affordable
join
and
the
vital to
Axis.
communication capabilities. You should also monitor your
Did that
emergency
talk here?
radio channels to assess the extent and area
The problem is always, when I think about survival techniques, I feel like, should I invest the time to learn it, even though there's a high chance you will never need them, you
radius
know?
of the disaster.
But as I said with the Ukraine war, I want to soon, like end of this year or next year, I want to make my gun license. Because I might just be stupid. Because I once a year, I want to go to a gun range and have a feeling of shooting. In case Vladimir Putin needs to be stopped by these guns, you know? Like a little... I know it sounds super weird, but isn't the world weird? Look at... We didn't think 50 days ago Ukraine will get invaded, you know? You never fucking know what's going on. And like once a year, learning how to shoot a gun and stuff... What? You know? I don't know, man. I don't know. You sound very American right now. Look, I'm intelligent enough to understand how weird that sounds. But... Dude, look at young people in Ukraine, man. They're not allowed to leave the country and they have to fight. All of a sudden, you played World of Warcraft all day, and now in the next minute, you have to fight. Is it that bad to be a little bit mini prepared? Just like really basic, man. I'm not telling you become a prepper and fucking go to the gun range every day. Learning first aid, stuff like that. Thank you, Cool Moish. I have my baby first aid training soon. It's not weird, it's a noble hobby. The thing is, I don't want to shoot guns as a hobby because it's fun to me. I just feel like I want to understand what it feels like again, you know?
And base your decision on whether to bug out
Tommy
or
becomes
bug in
American.
based upon this information. If you have a police scanner, you can monitor the chatter to determine how the disaster's aftermath is unfolding. Don't give too much credibility to the word-of-mouth rumors and gossip.
Suck, that's a very important point, man. Dude, the world nowadays is so full of fake news. I will never forget, I shared it a million times. I come from Halle, German town called Halle, thank you, the Beast. And some years ago, there was an attack in Halle where a guy tried to shoot the Jews in the synagogue. Maybe you guys remember. And I will never forget, bro, the fake news in my city, the local Facebook, my own brother, man. People were sharing the weirdest stories, the weirdest pictures. This is the guy, he took a hostage. It was all wrong. It was all fake, man. Ukraine war, dude, you don't know what the fuck is real and what is not, man. So this is a big point. You cannot trust anything when there is a full disaster, man.
Especially don't base your decisions on this
the
type
world
of
is so full of bullshit in these
Assuming
moments.
you have prepped in advance. Your most significant decision.
You were tank about how much firearm. I had a lot of firearm training, obviously, in the first 3 months of the army. You have a lot of gun training there, which, yeah, it's not that crazy. I don't want to sound weird, but thank you very much, René, man. 42. mein Bester. René, alles Gute, bleib schön gesund, mein Bester, wa? 42, ey, da hast du aber... Da hältst du schon hinter dir, meiner. Mach dir einen schönen Abend, mein Hübscher. Küsschen.
So, have a nice day.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I was just about to say, when I had gun training, look, what I always felt is scary about guns is that when I was trained on guns, meaningly the G36, the Walter P99, the fucking rocket launcher thingy, and a tank. Anything else? No, and the MG, not 42, but some MG. What I felt was so scary about guns, and why I'm actually a bit anti-guns, right? It would be nice to have a world without guns. Unfortunately, you have fuckers like Putin, you know? MG3, I don't know. I don't know, man, what it was. It's all outdated. German army. I always felt they feel like toys, especially the assault rifle. It felt like a toy. There was no backlash. Dude, it's a killing machine that takes life, and it was just so easy. Dude, I could literally tell a 12-year-old how to disassemble that thing. That was always a bit scary, man. Like, it feels like a game, but it fucking ends lives, man. And I always felt like people are not seeing that so much. And I'm even maybe calling out some crazy Americans that love guns too much. They see it as a game, and it's fun and shit, but this is very, very serious tool you have in your hands there, man, you know?
The first 24 hours is going to be whether you should stay or go. Your window of opportunity will begin to close after the first 24 hours. Roads will begin to fill up, and travel will likely not be a safe option any longer. Ask yourself, can I make it 90 days where I am? Even if the answer is yes, have a bug-out plan and bag ready if the situation forces you out.
Good question, man.
Your solutions for the...
Could I make it 90 days where I am? I mean, that depends on the water supply. I would think after a while you have to get to a running source of water like a river, right? To cook the water there. It really depends how long the water stays on. Like the 12-year-old that killed her cousin and herself by accident, it looks like a toy, but it's a killing machine. Yeah. I live on a lake, I can just go fishing. Good for you, man. You're like that M. Night Shyamalan science dude.
The first 3 days are to have some preps in place already, along with a bug-out plan.
Flashlight, batteries,
all members of your network
blankets,
or family could implement the communication plan you've already put in place before the disaster. You should
Feel the
monitor
same
any
about driving
potential
cars.
compounding problems like nuclear
I
power
don't know if
plants
you can compare the danger coming from weapons with cars.
or dams.
That's
Most importantly,
way too far-fetched.
you need to assess
It's like saying, I feel fists are dangerous because they could kill.
whether
That's a bit
staying in
far-fetched.
location or getting to a safer area is possible,
I'm in London, I'd
which
be
is your best
dead pretty
choice
quickly.
during this golden window of opportunity.
The first
week. Within the first week, supplies will be gone. Either purchased
Yeah, imagine all the medical stuff the human race won't have anymore. So many people need meds and they will be gone in a week.
or stolen. Medicines will begin to run out, and people with medicine-dependent lives will turn to hospitals for what they need.
Do I need... One thing I always thought in an apocalypse, or like if I had to go to war, so glasses. People with glasses. If I had to go to war right now and my glasses would get destroyed or something, I would be fucked because I'm blind like a motherfucker, man. For people with glasses in an apocalypse or a war, you need some what's it called? Contact lenses. You need a second pair of glasses. Very, very important, man.
Hospitals may not be able to admit and help many people if their power cannot be
Also,
restored.
sunscreen.
Police, medical, and fire services will be overwhelmed, and you cannot
I don't
rely
really have
upon
spare
them.
glasses, dude.
The declaration of martial law is very likely
Dude, that's straight up. No, that's American. I just saw this one on the highway today.
because governments
Looks
attempt
exactly
to
like the
keep
one I saw.
peace. As we saw this year,
These are
people
Americans.
will likely not accept martial law. Vigilante security groups will probably spring up in neighborhoods and communities.
Very true, especially in America, man. Imagine a disaster in America. Dude, these guys will not accept the government anymore and will just make their own shit.
Clean water may cease to flow and
Crystal
trash
clear,
and
man.
human waste will
100%.
begin to pile up. As sewage plants fill, municipal water supplies or local rivers may become contaminated. Natural gas and electricity will cease to flow.
Oh, that's so important. The local river might be contaminated because there's no filter systems anymore and shit.
By the end of the first week, the levels of circulating cash will be very low, and bartered items like food, water, and durable goods will begin to rise in value. People will be either trying to leave populated areas or, for those stranded away from home when the disaster struck, they will just be arriving back to their city home, if they decide to return home, to find that the landscape has changed considerably. Remember, the golden window to either stay in place or bug out is really in the first 24 hours. After that, you're competing with a herd every
This feels like legit a trailer to Zombie, huh?
step of your
I
journey.
can't wait for 42.
Your solution for the
So
first
excited.
week is to take a mental inventory of your supplies and try to get all your family members or groups in one central defensible position. Do not share, even at community or building meetings, the extent of your supplies.
Do not share. This is getting dark, mate, Mr. YouTuber. This is in the movie where people start becoming weird and killing each other. Don't share. Dude, what even is that? You just have a bunch of shit, man. Look at like, what the fuck is all this trash?
If you do, your supplies will likely be taken and divided up by the second week. You'll need to use a large bucket and trash bags to remove waste from your living area. If it's more than just you, a 24-hour watch system at your home must be established. The
Jesus,
night will
he's
bring the
taking this very
greatest
serious,
conflicts, as desperate
Yeah,
people
yeah.
will try to use the cloak of darkness to keep them hidden. Martial law or local police may still provide some protection during
In a weird way, yeah, Warden, you will have to build a team or like a community, true. If you have a lot of people, you're much stronger. I always felt like in Apocalypse I want to be alone, like only in a small group, but that might be very wrong.
day. Beyond
Because there's two approaches in a catastrophe. Make a big group like Mad Max. We are the evil orcs. We take everyone. Or you're like very stealthy and alone. You never show yourself. Nobody knows you. That's the two approaches,
just your
you know.
home. Know what is
But
happening
maybe
in your
building the
neighborhood
Mad
and
Max
community.
orcs is better.
Stay in the well-trafficked areas if you have to venture out during the day. Second week. By the second week, crime, looting, and marauding will rise. Stores and pharmacies will have already been looted. Mutual assistance groups will spring up in some communities, neighborhoods,
Mutual
and buildings.
assistance groups. What a
These will
weird
vary
word.
from street gangs to militias to armed citizens. There could be conflicts between these groups, though they will likely be pretty respectful.
Maybe you guys could take me in. Talking about you guys, dude. I have a little mini story, just for a second. So yesterday, me and Lisa were in our home city, Halle, right? Just taking a walk, checking stuff out. So we're walking down the street, just talking, blah, 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 blah. And I look behind me, right? I look behind me. And there's a guy, imagine like, you know, end-20s, long curls, right? And he's on one of these scooters, you know, these scooters everyone has now. And he looks at me like this. And I'm like, okay, this guy's either a fan or he's a fucking serial killer, man. And I just keep walking, and suddenly he drives by us, and he's like, he literally, I swear to God, he did this. He does this. Hey, big fan. Woo! And he just keeps driving. Like, he didn't know what to do. He saw TommyKay, so he just decided to press gas, and he was like, woo! And he just drove off. I swear to God. And me and Lisa are like, oh, okay, at least he's not a killer. Okay, man. Just fucking wait away, man.
Boundaries
The
in the early
best.
weeks.
Are you watching right now? Say me if you're in the chat.
Your opportunity to travel has passed. Roads impacted by people fleeing population centers will be littered with abandoned vehicles and will be far
was
too
you?
unsafe
Okay.
to travel. Many will be living out of their cars on rural land they could get to, and they will suffer being kicked out off that land by locals. International borders will be closed to stop the flood of refugees, and governments will issue stay-at-home orders, curfews, or attempt to relocate people en masse. With no sign of recovery, hospital and emergency workers will turn to their own families and communities. You'll want to keep as low a profile as possible. Make sure the windows are covered. Avoid
Yes,
cooking
keep
in
a low
lights at
profile.
night.
Be
When
stealthy.
cooking, add any spices after flame out to avoid releasing scents into the air. You'll need a purifying
Bro,
water
that guy is so prepared, man. Put the spices in after, so the
you obtain
wow.
that isn't part of your stores. Stay put and stay hidden. You'll not find food or medicine anywhere, so there's little point in venturing out.
Jesus.
Your solutions for this period are to have the foods and medicine you need in your preps. If you formed relationships with your neighbors, now is the time to start discussing food rationing and how you'll work together if you're not prepared.
Dude, that's German. Hey, that was German. I just realized. That's German. I drink this milk. What else do I have here? This is German. I just actually took a Ibuflam, painkiller. Tomatenmark, Bio, das Gute, ja. This is disgusting. This is an English shot.
Neighbors,
Hey, that's
now is the
German,
time
man.
to start discussing food rationing and how you'll work together if you're not prepared.
Rewe.
At this point, you have all decided to hunker down, so you're all in it together. Never reveal all your supplies, but it will be crucial for you to have a large supply of food stored, as you may be the only resources your neighbors have. Always barter a cup of beans
Groups
or
on
rye.
porn? Yeah, because gangs will be made, right? Like Bill Burr has a bit about this. When the apocalypse comes, the biggest guy on the block, the biggest idiot is suddenly the boss man. The guys that have weapons, the guys that are strong, have the numbers, they will
Or a
rule
couple of
everyone.
ramen noodle packets for things you know you will need in the weeks ahead. If someone wants to charge their item with the solar generator you have, you should try to have some costs associated with that. Otherwise, they'll be at your door repeatedly using your resources. Avoid giving...
Dude, that guy's kind of dark. Like, you knock at his door, sir, neighbor, my family is hungry. Can I use your charger? Sure, for a can of ravioli. Like that. He's kind of correct, right? He will probably totally survive,
away your
man. But
valuable preps for nothing in
kind of
return.
dark, man.
You should have medical kits and books to allow you to care for yourself and others. The loaning of prepping books you've already read and do not need a reference is the only exception because you want your neighbors to be knowledgeable and not a burden. If sewage is down, you may need a community plan for removing waste from your living area.
True. You gotta know where to shit and
Third
stuff.
week.
True.
By the end of the third week, seeing a car on the road or a plane in the sky will be a curiosity. If it's a car on the road, it likely will signify potential danger. Are there still no communication or signs of recovery? You'll be stuck where you are, and you should give up the prospect of any recovery at a national level. You'll have to rely upon your network.
Thank you, Matthias.
Marauders will be an ongoing threat.
Another one.
It will not be safe to leave your network alone. If you and your group are to survive, your solutions are to
These
delegate
fucking stock
responsibilities
pictures,
based
man.
upon areas of expertise. Any current or former Leo or military should be in charge of implementing a security plan. Anyone with medical training will have to provide those services. Again, don't reveal all your food stores, but contribute
The
maybe
fuck
a
are these
pound of
pictures? This
beans
is a
and a pound
creepy
of
ass
rice.
video, man.
Those will feed several people and keep people from getting desperate. The reality that you're all in this together will sink in for many, so you'll need to provide direction to steer your community. Maybe loan a book or two to people who show they have some expertise. As a community, you'll need to obtain water by draining water heaters or pipes, or setting up a
Oh, I'm actually learning stuff. You can get water from draining heaters and pipes. Boah, Alter.
rain
Genius.
collection system. You'll need to lead the thinking on these things.
I think you have to look
The
for a well, right?
Ability
also
to provide
important.
survival knowledge to your community will make you an invaluable asset.
I'm not a private. I'm a private first class in Germany, okay? Hey, come on. 1
to 2 months.
You don't want to
By
drink
now,
that? Or when you're
things are up
thirsty,
to
you want
you
to
and
drink
your
that, trust
community
me.
for survival if no help is coming. As a prepper, you will become a valuable resource if you can help your community. Tough decisions will have to
So he's actually, honestly, he's a prepper. True, if it ever happens, preppers are pretty sick,
be
man.
made. Rationing of food.
Obergefreiter, private first class, are you stupid? Obergefreiter AD, Tommy.
Within your home.
Right
Roles
in.
will have to be established and skills brought to the table for everyone to work together. Many envision that after a significant disaster and no help is coming,
That's the point, German viewers. That's the point. If the war comes, if Putin goes ham, I'm your superior, man. I have the 2 ones. You have fucking nothing. Okay? You have to salute to me. You fucking be careful. I remember your names, Private Hans Wurst im Glück.
they'll
Alter.
simply be an island to themselves. The reality is that this will not be the case. People will know what you have, and if you have it start forming
What
waste
the fuck is there? Why don't you show you a picture of a woman with bananas?
others
This,
near you that can
this
help
guy is
you in
creeping the
return,
fuck out of me, man.
you may have an angry mob at your doorstep.
It's like, you know, if ever the apocalypse happens, he's a genius. If it never happens, he's just a creepy dude on the internet.
Many in the
It's a
prepper
weird
community
gamble he's
envision
doing.
that they'll be fine making it independently. If you live in an urban or suburban environment, this simply will not be the case. Remember, manpower will be critical for survival. The notion of just sitting on a stockpile of food is simply not realistic.
And maybe in a weird way, who knows? Maybe he's very wrong. Maybe everybody will just really work together. Like everybody would help each other and stuff, and build a big, massive citywide group. Maybe I don't believe it, but
As others
maybe
will
we're
figure
all
out
wrong, man.
quickly who has food and who does not.
Even though
It is
I'm
in this
probably
moment
very
that
wrong.
working-
Dude, Corona already showed people here, oh, we'll kill each other for toilet paper. So thank you, Magiko Lenny.
With and not against your neighbors
Yeah,
will
maybe I'm
enable
wrong.
everyone to survive.
Dude, imagine, right? There used to be a show about this. I don't remember. Imagine in an apocalypse what would happen. No one thinks about this. To people in need, the elderly, old people in retirement homes, people in hospitals, handicapped people. dude, there will be in massive trouble. There was it The Walking Dead where they saw a retirement home? Like these people will be fucked, man. Which shows how beautiful society is nowadays, that we have the powers and resources to help these people, man.
3 months.
Yes, you say natural selection, but in this scenario, it's natural selection. But in real life, it's not. In real life, it's beautiful that the human race reached a point where we can help these people. That's a sign of progress. Thank you, Tennant Steele, for the year, man. Thank you, man.
After 3 months, it will be apparent that rescue isn't coming. Governments won't restructure.
Hello, Tommy.
After such a long natural disaster, any government that shows up in your city.
Think of Ukraine, how they come together, though. The thing is, though, if you want to unite people, you have to give them a common enemy. The Ukrainians have the common enemy of Russia, which makes them go together. In an apocalypse, there's no common enemy, you know?
Not be there in a friendly helping capacity. It will be more feudalistic, community against community as they compete for natural resources and remaining resources. You're stuck where you are and may be subject to whatever.
Dude, if you really think about it, like there will be so much rape and murder, man. Look at Eastern Ukraine, right? When you give men, let's just say it as it is, when you give men power, okay, like weapons and lawlessness, they will just straight up become animals, man. And there will always be crazy fucks that will just do very, very evil shit,
Whatever
dude.
jurisdiction rule holds the most power. You'll likely no longer be in a populous area. Either you left or they left. The death toll from a prolonged SHTF situation can only be estimated, but even in the low estimates, fully 1/3 of all the people will not survive in the first.
A guy in chat just not me. No one was you weirdo! You weirdo! This guy just said not me. And then he smiled. I just found the rapist, dude. Right there. Where is he? Not me? Smile. Dude, you are creepy, man. This guy, whoa, he's creeping the fuck out of me. Oh shit. I just called the viewer a rapist. Just a joke, but damn.
Gone will be the
that was
elderly
weird.
and anyone with a significant medical condition. Those receiving medical treatment or anyone with
Self-report.
fragile health. Expect others to die from violence, starvation, dehydration, illness, travel, and exposure to the elements. The reality is that most people can't walk 10 miles, find food or water, or have the knowledge and skills to survive outside the fragile systems they rely upon. The world will look very post-apocalyptic, and either small communities will band together and rebuild by sharing labor.
Isn't it crazy though how the pictures from Ukraine, like in just some weeks, they turned Eastern Ukraine into a hellhole. Isn't that crazy how fast you can destroy civilization? A city with infrastructure, people working, everything is normal. 2 weeks later, completely fucking leveled, dude. That is it's crazy how quickly you can just destroy stuff, man.
By now, you contribute something to the sustainment of your network community. And your community
Like, imagine driving through your city right now where you live and there's just a hole in the building because a rocket hit there.
may have established trade or alliances with other communities. As much as it is common to think that as a
Ukraine
prepper,
into
you'll be
Russia.
able to go it alone, the reality is that you'll need a community to survive unless you're completely off-grid in the wilderness. For most preppers, that type of wilderness survival isn't a possibility. For most, survival will depend on the cooperation of others.
That is interesting to say. Preppers do not believe of surviving in the wild. It's more about making That's interesting.
Understand how it breaks down to understand how to survive. There will be no electricity, no
That looks straight up from Dawn of the Dead.
water, no hospital, no government, dead telephones, and no internet in a prolonged grid-down situation. Know your location and assess your place before you find yourself in such dire straits. Ensure you have paper maps and know the areas of nuclear power plants and dams which may also
True, you
fail.
don't have Google Maps anymore.
Knowledge is
Yeah.
power. So having police scanners, radios, television, CB radio, ham radios, and some word of mouth will be critical.
Jesus, man.
Any information you can
That's
obtain from
Muldrow.
these resources will be useful. Running water will stop. Pump stations will stop. Gravity-fed water, those big tanks on the hills you see, will continue to flow for a while, but they will run out since they are not being replenished. Fill the bathtub and every container you have, as water flow may stop. Water heaters typically hold around 40 gallons of water, so you may need to tap this resource to sustain yourself. You'll need the absolute minimum of at least 90 gallons of water per person to get you through the first 90 days.
Can you believe that? When I was a kid and my parents and my grandparents will drive somewhere for vacation, they had a map. Can you believe that? Like, there will be a big, let's go to Italy, and they will be like, so we drive 2 hours here, and then if we're lucky, we have to take the right. I might be wrong. If not, we are losing 2 hours, and then we have to... That was the world back then. That was
includes
the world
all
back then,
drinking,
dude.
washing, and cooking. You simply cannot survive on
Unimaginable
less than
nowadays.
that. If feasible, strategize and implement a rainwater collection system. From day one, start rationing your food and water. Don't be a healthy fat person after people have suffered for a month. You will be alerting people. The same is true for cooking food. Make sure the scent isn't carrying, or you will attract others. You will need months of food. Most view this as caloric needs alone, but make sure you're looking at the nutritional qualities of the food. Understand that if you're hunkered down, you will not be burning a ton of calories. If you're on the move, you will be burning lots of calories, but will be unable to carry all the calories.
This is legit Zomboid, man.
For a journey
I
of a
cannot
week
wait
or
for
more.
Zomboid's update, man.
Ensure that you have
So
90
excited.
days of pet food on hand, and remember their water needs are different. They can drink rainwater without ill effect. Cash will only have an initial value. After the first couple of weeks, water, food, and durable goods will be of more importance. Bartering will hold more value in a prolonged or indefinite collapse. Supply chains will stop. The just-in-time delivery system with lean inventories will collapse relatively swiftly. Supply trucks will cease to deliver.
When I bring back Zomboid, we still have to live at the farm because it's so hard now. We need
Take
the
advantage of any supply.
But I really want to go back to that military village in the south. That
Don't
was so fun.
sacrifice your safety if they turn into chaotic mobs grabbing resources.
Thank you, man.
Even if you don't need the food or water, you can trade for items you need like winter coats, blankets, or other critical items.
The water barons.
Prepping for a national disaster that will last more than 90 days may seem extreme, but it should be your minimum goal. If you can survive the first 90 days after a collapse of that magnitude, you'll likely be able to survive the long haul and make it to the rebuilding phase. A return to the way things were before a collapse of that magnitude just isn't.
What I think is also so interesting about apocalypses, it shows who actually matters in society, right? What are you? What are you? I'm a Twitch streamer. What are you? I'm an influencer. What are you? I work at the local water plant and I don't know how to distillate water. Do you know? You kind of understand how trash you are. You know, I could entertain you guys. So fuck off, TommyKay. Nobody needs you. I'm a hunter. Thank you, Daka.
A possibility after 90 days.
You will actually need important people, especially doctors,
but you'll
man.
never have to rely
wheel.
upon your community and your networks. Apart from the items you've stored up,
You could suck the dick,
your
though.
significant assets will be your knowledge that you can bring to your community.
Tommy will be the court
Take a
jester.
look at my other videos to understand the things you'll need. Set your prepping goals
Like
for a targeted 90
architects,
days
builders,
out. You'll find that the longer the
electricians,
time you can prepare for, the
actually
more your
important
chances
people.
of survival increases. At each significant phase of the 90 days, a week out, 2 weeks out, etc., assess whether staying in location or finding someplace new is in your best interest. Likely, the window of opportunity is closed, but you'll find a caravan of people
you know
planning to
why?
move.
Come on,
Your
get him
best
at that
bet after
stand.
the first week or two is a safe
Gets
put.
me in trouble.
Please feel free to put any suggestions, tips, or information
I'm
you
an
have in the
oncologist.
comment
I could
section
dig up the
below.
dead slowly.
If you enjoy this video, please click the like button and share it with your friends.
Okay, boys.